moviegoers, it's Luke Rollins again, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be doing the Incredible Hulk movie review, so let's get started. I know, this movie came out in 2008, but there was really nothing else to watch on TV, so I decided to do a review on this. So let's get started. Scientist Bruce Banner desperately seeks a cure for the gamma radiation that contaminated his cells and turned him into the Hulk. Cut off from his true love, Betty Ross, and forced to hide from his nemesis, Jen Thunderbolt Ross. Banner soon comes face to face with a new threat, a supremely powerful enemy known as the Abomination. Okay guys, before we get started, the director of this movie is Louis Leterrier. He directed movies like The Brothers Gimsey back in 2016, Now You See Me back in 2013, Clash of the Titans back in 2010, Transporter 2 back in 2005, and The Transporter back in 2002. So I saw this movie earlier today, because there was nothing else to watch on TV, but I saw this movie today, and I gotta say, this movie was very, very disappointing. As much as I love, the Marvel franchise and, all the movies, this is probably my least favorite, Marvel movie out there. Now I know this is the Hulk and everyone loves the Hulk and all, but this movie just was not working out for me. It had a good cast. I'm not so fond of Ed Norton. I would prefer Mark Ruffalo, but he probably was doing something back in the day. But I just wasn't really feeling this movie. The visual effects weren't as good as you would think if you've seen in the trailer and you've seen the Hulk. I'm not too fond with this Hulk. I mean, he just doesn't look right. He looks kind of like human-like, and that's my problem with the movie is the visual effects. Now, the plot is not good from beginning to end, because in the beginning we don't really know what's going on in this movie. We know that Ed Norton, the Hulk, he lives alone in this Mexico, or I don't know, somewhere far away, and he lives alone because he's running away from these people like if Thunderbolt Ross. In the Marvel franchise movies, you've seen him in Captain America, Civil War, Avengers Infinity War. He's kind of like the general of this movie. Also, the father of Betty Ross. Now, the plot of this movie is just not good, because you have no idea, when the movie starts, you don't know what's going on. We know that he's talking to the scientist on the computer. He's texting the scientist on the computer called Mr. Blue. Now, we don't know who Mr. Blue is, and I just feel like, how are you going to make a movie and, we don't, know what's going on from the beginning? It doesn't really grab audiences' attention. Now, one of the things I do love about this movie is the love story of the Hulk and Betty Ross. As you know, back in the first Hulk, by the way, guys, this is a remake, but in the first Hulk, Betty Ross was played by a different character. Let me see. She was played by Jennifer Conley. And Eric Bana was the Hulk. Now, I gotta say, in this movie, I just love the relationship, because it's distant, but it gets better over time, and I just love, the love story, interest in this movie. It's very touching, and I think you guys are gonna love that when you watch this movie. Now, in this movie, Betty Ross is already, in a relationship with another guy. I think it's the Modern Family guy, Ty Burrell, Doc Samson. Yep, that's his name. And yeah. The things, though, that this movie does really well is as we all know, the Hulk is probably like the strongest Avenger in the Marvel, cinematic universe. And what I love about this movie is the villain in this movie is kind of like the same, it's kind of balanced so that, when they fight, they both have the same strengths and, to fight each other, which makes it more, difficult, makes the battle more, challenging. And that's what this movie does really well with. In Captain Marvel, I thought that they were going to do that in that movie with Young Rock and Captain Marvel. I thought that, Captain Marvel was going to face, something more, have the same, abilities and strengths to defeat her, and they both could, have the same, powers and be able to have a more compelling challenge, to make the movie more better. The villain in this movie is not very, relatable. The villain doesn't really grab your interest like Thanos would grab your interest, killing half of the universe and people. This villain is not that interesting. I mean, we've seen it in other movies before, but Tim Roth starring as the Abomination. I mean, there's some moments, in the end where this action sequences are amazing. I mean, towards the end, the visual effects are, good, but I still think they could have worked more, better on the visual effects. But towards the end of the movie, the battle sequences, though, the action sequences are just amazing with, the Hulk. They go at it, and it's just stunning. And that's what I love about this movie. Now, another thing that I love about this movie is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is very, relatable. You've seen it. You've heard, this type of sound in the original Hulk, movie, but the, what do you call it? The musician kind of added some more, good stuff into the music and stuff. Now, something that we don't really see now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Thunderbolt Ross is in this movie, we get to see his, villain side, of the story. We get to see him more, evil and demanding, and he wants to make this guy, the Abomination, the villain, Tim Roth, the Abomination. Now, in the other, Marvel movies, you'll see him kind of guide the Avengers, in a way, not like Nick Fury's way, but like in a way, like, giving them missions and, all types of stuff. But in this movie, we get to see, a different person in this movie. And I kind of like that in this movie. We get to see a different side of Thunderbolt Ross. Now, in this movie, this is supposed to be like the origin, story of, the Hulk. It's supposed to be kind of like a sequel, but it's really like a reboot, remake type of movie. But if you've seen any other movies, like maybe like Black Widow, for instance, or like Captain Marvel or Black Panther, if you've seen all of those movies explain more of, the origin story, of the movie. And I know I'm talking, about Marvel movies in general, but there's other movies like out there like that. But this movie kind of speeds through the origin story, which makes it harder to watch and, to focus on. And there may be like some new people out there who, come across this movie and they're going to be like, wait, so who is this guy and what happened, and, all of that stuff. So I feel like they could have done a better job with this movie, with the origin story. Alright guys, so if I'm going to rate this movie though, I'm probably going to give it about 4 stars. I mean, there's some entertaining times. The battle sequences are really good. The visual effects could have been better. Not a fan of Ed Norton, but Thunderbolt Ross in this movie is outstanding. It's a very demanding character, very kind of evil character. The Betty Ross relationship with Bruce Banner is just really good, which makes this movie really good. Okay, guys, so I'm going to give it 4 stars, a C+, and I will get back to you with more movie reviews. So please like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next movie review. Bye, guys, and stay safe.